It's another Shay Shay exclusive.
It's your girl Shay Shay, aka Beat Queen, and we're back with another episode of Cooking with Queen. Today, what we've got for you is a curry with butternut squash, garbanzo beans, and cauliflower. And on the side of that, we're gonna have some couscous with some greens. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so what we're going to need is about a half a head of cauliflower, 1 can of rinsed off garbanzo beans, and I did about a half of a butternut squash. We've also got some kale greens, some grapeseed oil, a mixture of bell peppers, red, yellow, and orange. We've got some red onions, about 3 chopped up Roma tomatoes, about 6 chopped cloves of garlic, and we've got some chopped cilantro. Also, what you're going to want is coconut milk and curry powder. And then also your salt and pepper seasonings and other seasonings to mix for taste. Now also what I have is, I've got some couscous. This is the brand that I like. You can use any type of rice, jasmine rice, you can use quinoa, but this is what I'm using today. So what we're gonna get started with first is the greens. So I've got my big pot, and what I'm going to do is I've already got it on about at medium high. So I'm going to put, we'll say about 3 cloves of garlic right in the pan. And since this is a vegetarian meal, we're going to put some vegetable stock in there. And we're going to let that simmer a little bit. Also, what we're going to do is put in some of our mixture of peppers right in there, and we want to kind of saute all of that together. Let it simmer. And then also about a half an onion. You don't have to use red onion, but this is just what I'm using today. Get the curry started. So I've got it at about a medium high for the temperature. And I'm going to put in about another 3 to 4 cloves of chopped garlic. Also, in that pan with your oil, you want to put in your onions. The rest of those peppers. Our tomatoes. And our chopped cilantro. We'll let that steam for about 5 minutes, and then we'll put in our garbanzo bean, cauliflower, and butternut squash mixture. Now that looks pretty good. So we're going to go ahead and put our mixture in here for our vegetables, and this is going to put some texture into our mix. So first, to season, I'm going to put a little bit of my zesty table blend. Always got to have some salt in there. And really, I don't have measurements for my seasonings. This is simply a season to taste. You don't want to overdo it because you can't take the seasonings out. So I would rather under-season first and then taste it and see what it needs next. What I did is I went ahead and got a bag of the Glory Kale greens. It's a brand, the Glory brand. And it just really saves yourself time from having to clean and chop. Now, the reason why I've got so much in here is because it's going to steam down as it cooks. So it's going to shrivel up and be a lot less than it appears. So just put the rest of it in there. Not going to season it yet. What I'm going to do is put my top on and let it cook down a little bit, and then we'll get to seasoning. Got some onion powder, And of course, our star of the show is our curry powder. I want to be pretty generous with my curry powder. So, you know, just kind of play it by ear with that. I'm just going to say this curry smells so good. I can't wait till it all comes together. So now what we're going to do, we've got it all stirred up. All of our seasonings are mixed in with our vegetables. So now we're going to put our top on. And we're just going to let our vegetables get soft. And then we'll be back to put in some coconut milk. So as you can see, my kale greens have already cooked down some. So I want to turn that heat down to about medium. And now is when we can go ahead and season. We want to put a little salt in there. Now the thing about greens is you definitely don't want to over season with salt, because if you use too much, it's just really overwhelming. So definitely, you know, even if you think you haven't put enough in, it has, because your seasoning is going into that stock that you have at the bottom. So your flavor's there. It might just take a little bit for it to get there to where it needs to be, but you know, don't overreact if it doesn't seem like it's seasoned well enough. Chances are it is, and if it isn't, at the very end you can put a little bit more seasoning in there. And lastly, I've got some fresh ground pepper. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and stir that up in there. Okay, and it really looks beautiful. It's like a vibrant green. I love that. Now for greens, a lot of people put some type of vinegar in their greens. What I'm going to use, or what I like to use, is either I like to put balsamic vinegarette because it's got good flavor. But today what I've got is this olive oil and vinegar. We actually picked this up at King Tut. It's a Mediterranean restaurant downtown Fort Worth. So I'm just going to put a little bit in there. Yeah, that's good enough. Okay. So I'm going to finish it off with just a little bit more stock. Turn my heat down some more, and then we're just gonna let that simmer. Okay, so now our mixture, our curry mixture, it's cooked a little bit. So now what I'm gonna do is add a little bit of vegetable broth in there, just for it to create its own sauce. That coconut milk is gonna help too once we put it in, but we want it to cook down a little bit more before we do that. Alrighty, now is when we want to go ahead and put in our coconut milk. So I've got about 1 3/4 cup of coconut milk, and I'm just going to pour it in. I'm going to pour and stir until I feel like it's the consistency that I want. Alrighty, so I poured in about 1 cup of coconut milk. I'm going to put my top back on and let that simmer for about another 20 minutes, and we should be ready to go. Before we put in that coconut milk, it was simmering for about 30 minutes. All of our vegetables were soft, so we're good to go. Alright, our curry is done. So now what we're going to go ahead and do is make the couscous. So, like I said, what I got is this Near East couscous mix, and it cooks really fast, which is why I get it. So I'm just going to put it in a pot with the couscous, and then there's a seasoning mix that goes with it. So we're just going to get that boiled, and our meal will be done. Now while my couscous is cooking, I'm going to go ahead and get my naan started. Now me, I don't know how to make my own naan. Maybe one day I'll learn, but I got this pre-made package, Stonefire brand. I love naan. And so we preheated our oven at 400, and then I'm just going to put it directly in the stove. The instructions are in the back if you need help heating that up. Guys, check this out. We've got our kale greens, side of naan bread. We've got our couscous, and over the top of that is our curry. It smells great, and I know it's going to taste delicious. I hope you try this meal. If you've got any questions or suggestions, definitely send me a message, comment, like, and subscribe. We'll see you at our next video.